I'm the landlady of the Old Ivy House in Clerkenwell, which we've took over. I have a business partner. We're equal partners in the business. We took over the September before last, so 2022. I had been running a pub in Shoreditch prior to that for about 5 years. I was running the pub, but I didn't own the lease or anything, so I was running it on behalf of two guys who were quite hands off. They let me get on with it, so it was a great way for me to learn what I was doing, really. And there wasn't much scope for putting on events or anything. It was a very small little backstreet boozer, so it was cute and had a good customer base, but it's great to be able to have spread my wings a bit in the Old Ivy House, which is much bigger. And yeah, we can put events on and things. The way it started was a customer at the Prince Arthur, my old pub, became a friend, became a business partner. We were talking one night. He'd always wanted to run a pub, didn't know how. Anyway, the plan was hatched. So the main inspiration is creating a pub where we personally would like to drink. So if there's football on or comedy or good music playing and dim lighting and all the things that make a pub atmosphere appealing.
Yeah. Okay. And so you mentioned the events. Like, what kind of events do you just put on? Is it kind of arranged, like you just said, of music, football? Do you have like specialist events as well?
We do. We kind of see what's working, and if things aren't working, we it's quite organic. Like when we first took over, the pub was a bit of a dead pub. It's on the it's on the main road, and it's not doesn't have much footfall. So it's sort of only 10 minutes walk to Angel or Farringdon or Barbican or Old Street. It's not far from any of those, but no one really passes our door unless they're going to one of the businesses nearby or something. So when we'd come to Recce, the pub, over a weekend, there was one old man at the bar and that was it. So we thought we need to put on events because it's not hard for people to get to, and we loved comedy. So we sourced a comedian who curated our nights for us and things, and we did that for about 6 months. And it was great to begin with. We were getting a full pub on a Saturday night, but then towards the end, when we'd actually become a bit more popular anyway, we were ending up kicking out the locals to get in other customers, of which we hadn't sold quite enough tickets and stuff. So we sort of we moved on from the comedy, but we always come up with different ideas. Like we did a dog show last summer,
Wow.
and we did a live. We've got a jazz band from the local music school, so they play every Friday, and my business partner Dell had seen this live band Mario Kart thing on some Australian Instagram. So we tasked this jazz band to learn all the scores of the Mario different
Oh, wow.
different courses and things,
Yeah.
and we had people pay to play. Winner stays on, and then the jazz band played the score at the same time, which I didn't know how it was going to go, but it was really successful, and we'll do it again. So it's
Yeah.
sort of seeing what's out there and adapting it to suit our needs.
Yeah, and
Um,
also being that sounds very unique because obviously like a lot of pubs kind of bring in a band and that's kind of what they do, but that's a very unique idea. So yeah,
yeah,
that must have got a lot of interest.
yeah, and it was Easter Saturday as well. We
Yeah.
didn't really realise that when we decided on the date,
Yeah.
but it was busy regardless. So yeah, it was good fun.
Oh, amazing. So with all that in mind, like what do you think your biggest achievement has been so far as a business?
To be honest, probably staying open and busy. We're by no means coining it, but we've got our head above water at least. And it's a nice place to come. Like people know you don't want to go to an empty pub really. We've always got something going on that suits somebody's interest. So yeah, staying open and marginally profitable.
Yeah. Amazing. And then on the other hand, what do you think your biggest struggle has been?
Probably battling against the cost of living crisis. I mean, the beer keeps going up. That doesn't mean the customers got more money. And we can't, I mean, to make the profit that we should have been making sort of like, I guess 5, 10 years ago, we'd have to sell a pint at like 12 quid, which is
Yeah.
crazy. So we try and keep all our pints like under 6.50. Um, and I mean, but yeah, it's everything keeps going up. The bills alone, like it's crazy. Electricity just doesn't seem to be waning either.
Yeah.
So that is a definite struggle.
Okay. And then like speaking about like the energy crisis and stuff, you mentioned a little bit about it. How does it affect you? And have you made like any specific changes in the way that you run the business?
We have, yeah, we're owned by Shepherd Neame. We run the pub independently, but we're under the umbrella of the brewery from whom we buy all our beer and things. So we pay an annual cost for them to have a range of different services that we have, so like the sprinkler system and all that. But it included in that is a energy broker company.
Yeah.
So I rely on them quite heavily to find us good deals and things, because prior to this, I've never really had to look at
Yeah.
how many kilowatts to a pound, whatever it all is. It's sort of foreign to me. So I do rely on them to for advice. And in terms of uh, sorry, in terms of saving money and things, we can't really get our stock from anyone else, but we can get our energy from other people, obviously. So I keep re-signing different energy things. And we make sure we turn off everything at night time, which we used to not do. Like in the winter months, we can turn off the big chiller in the cellar and stuff. But you can't in the summer, but there's, yeah, little shortcuts like that which we're
Yeah.
using.
It all adds up though, doesn't it? Like even if it seems like a
Absolutely.
very small thing, like you are probably saving quite a bit of money by doing that. But
Yeah, yeah.
so like when you were setting up either this business or when you were working for your prior one, did you think there was enough information out there, like to help you as a business owner, like practical information, or did you kind of feel a bit lost?
I would definitely have felt lost if it wasn't
Yeah,
for my business partner, who's
yeah,
also he's mid-50s. He's run a couple of businesses. He's got a few things on the side that he does anyway, so he's very savvy. I probably wouldn't have had the balls to do it on my own, to be honest.
I don't blame you. I would be the same. Um, so like as you're a pub, what is your busiest time of year? So do you kind of see influxes or do you, like Christmas time or summertime? Like what's your busiest time of year generally?
Yeah, absolutely, definitely Christmas. Summertime, it gets to be a bit of a ghost town around here, to be honest, because
Really?
we don't have a beer garden. I mean, we've got a nice frontage, and we open the windows, and it all looks inviting. It's not like a little dark hole, but we don't. People want to sit in a beer garden or a park. So July, August, any days when it's super sunny, especially weekends, it can be a real struggle. We do have the sun on our side though. We're south facing. No, we're not. I don't know what we're facing, but the sun comes at lunchtime.
Yeah.
So we get a good lunchtime crowd all outside basking in the sun. But then as soon as the weekend hits, we know we're not going to have anyone. And yeah, Christmas is of course busy, and that sort of starts early November, the run up to that really.
Yeah.
So we put on fewer events because we don't really need to draw people in.
Yeah.
Um, but it's good to keep people. And so we made the jazz band do Christmas songs and get a choir in and stuff. So
Oh,
we sort of adapted things slightly
yeah.
to suit the busier crowd.
Yeah. Oh, that's a really nice idea. So how do you cope with the slower months? So like in summer, for example, do you put on more events and try and draw people in, or do you kind of have like anything that you do to draw people in?
Yeah, we do. Uh, I mean, we've tried and failed a few times. Like sometimes putting on an event when, say, it's like the last week before payday, and the same with like a sunny day. People aren't just you can put on as many events as you want and people aren't going to come if they haven't got any money, or if they've got a park that's free opposite their house or something. So I mean, it's a good time to do like organization and planning for the busier times and coming up with new ideas, and like organizing things in the cellar, or like sorting staff training and that sort of thing. So that's sort of the yeah how we deal with the slower months. It is hard, but also being consistently open, I
Yeah.
feel is important. If you suddenly start shutting early on a Saturday night, people are, if they're passing in 3 weeks' time, they won't come by. So
Yeah.
even if it's quiet, we still make sure we stay open.
Okay. And then what's your favorite part about running a pub if you kind of had to choose just one thing?
Probably mixing with a real range of people.
Yeah.
Like you'll have a conversation with an 80-year-old man for half an hour, or a 20-year-old international student, or
Yeah.
you wouldn't normally, outside of your normal circle, you wouldn't normally have this range of interesting people to talk to. So, and seeing how it all connects, like actually that 80-year-old man knows that because he walks her dog, and it's we've become part of the community here, which is really nice. So it's the community and the range of people, I guess.
Nice feeling, yeah. Out of interest, like what's the most popular drink that you sell, or is it kind of like a range of stuff?
It is a range, but it's probably lagers. We do beer Moretti or Cruz Campo. We're a big Guinness pub, and people drink a lot of wine as well. So fewer spirits.
Yeah.
And we do cocktails, but they sort of happen if you get a group of people in, they might buy a load of cocktails. But as a sort of bread and butter, it's pints and wine, really.
Okay. Amazing. And then, so do you have staff, or is it just mostly you, or like how many staff do you have, and how do you kind of keep them motivated?
We've got 5 members of staff, so three are full time. 4 are full time, really. I was full time. Like when we first took over, I wanted to. It seemed pointless to pay someone to do the quiet shifts, but also I needed to be there for the busy shift. So I ended up doing like all day, every day, and obviously that's not sustainable. And I actually had a baby in November, so it's I've had to relinquish the reins a little bit. Although we live on stairs, so it's really hard to switch off. But we've mainly because of that, I had to make sure we had like a really good team in place.
Yeah.
And we do. We've got 2 sort of shift managers, so they sort of dovetail. One's on the daytime, one's on the evening, each shift, and then generally just one other person. So we sort of run on 2 staff per shift, and then I dip in and out if it gets busy. But we've got a good team, and it's really, I mean, it's hard to motivate a 22-year-old to do anything really, especially like a part-time job. So that's why we kind of invest in we pay well, and we give them full-time hours, which makes you if you've got a bit more ownership over a role, you're more likely to put more into it, I think.
Definitely.
And we give positive feedback all the time, and it's a really nice place to work. It's a bit of a cushy number, like you can have a pint on shift and stuff as well, and everyone's lovely. So,
that's always a plus.
So
Oh, amazing. So what are you most excited about in the future? Like, do you have kind of plans of where you want to be in the next couple of years? Or do you have plans to kind of expand or take on more staff, anything like that?
yeah, we'd love to. It would be great if the pub made a profit. I mean, as I said before, we're keeping our head above water, but it's tough. Like sometimes we're really close to the bone with what's coming in and what's going out. So it'd be great to. I think I've got good hopes for this year. We've sort of taken a year and a half to ease into the pub and what works, and know the area and the customers and things. So hopefully we'll start making a bit of a profit. And I mean, ultimately, the plan would be to have another pub, but at the moment that's like a pipe dream. I don't know. I can't ever imagine that happening, but then who knows?
Okay, and then like so for your marketing and stuff, do you use social media, or is it kind of like locals come in and recommend you to their friends and that's how you get more custom? Or like, what's your main form of marketing, do you think?
Yeah, that's the main. I mean, we've got an active Instagram account, but it's not like we've got thousands of followers. I think we've got 700 or something, and that's people who already drink at the pub. So they're kept up to date with Instagram. And I think a lot of it is word of mouth. We still get people coming in saying that because the last management, I think they sort of didn't really do much with the pub after COVID. They had a few other places as well, and they let it go a bit. So people have come in, they're like, oh, I didn't realise you'd changed hands, and it's been 8 months. But it takes a while for that sort of to filter down. So we do rely on word of mouth. We make posters. I mean, it's not exciting, but we put them in the coffee shop and the fish and chip shop. And if it's something to do with someone doing an open mic night, we give it to them to take to the university, or it's pretty basic marketing. It's a poster,
cool,
and it's all a bit rootsy.
Yeah, because it's kind of like more old school, like traditional forms of marketing Because
Yeah,
like social media is good, but like you said, if you don't have many followers to begin with, it's kind of difficult to drum up that interest. But
yeah,
like word of mouth, people kind of trust their friends and family, people they know. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's more
exactly.
effective in a lot of ways. Um,
Yeah.
if you could give some advice to somebody else like attempting to start up a business, what would you say to them?
That you probably need about half as much again. It's like Grand Designs, whenever they have a budget, it's always like half as much
Yeah,
again. You need more than you think. We were lucky at least coming into this business knowing that everything was sky high. So we weren't in it and then it rose. So but yeah, I'd say you need more than you think.
hmm. And then why do you think it's better to support like your small pubs more than just like I don't know Weatherspoons or O'Neill's that kind of pub?
Well, I mean, the building's been a pub for 250 years. It will always be a pub, but it won't always be run independently if people don't come to it.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, obviously the Yateses or the Weatherspoons or whatever of this world have such a monopoly and such a wide bank of well they've just got I imagine they've got loads of money. Like they can pluck up any old pub that's failing
yeah,
and turn it into one of theirs. Whereas I imagine they were tasteless. Like they won't tailor their events or custom to what their customers need. Like they sort of do a blanket. I don't know anything about them, by the way. I imagine they do a kind of blanket marketing, like this is the cocktail of the week or
yeah,
whatever. I don't think they'll think to engage the little band that live down the road and see if they want to do a gig or
yeah,
you get the personal touch with us. We're like a what's it called? Um, a local pub in central
yeah.
London, I suppose. Yeah.
Definitely. It's nice to have that vibe as well. Like you mentioned community earlier and kind of knowing your customers and seeing that the same people come in. It's like a
Yeah,
nice feeling, isn't it? Because you kind of know everybody.
absolutely. Yeah, I think that's what differentiates us, certainly, the customer service. And like if
Yeah.
you walk into a pub and someone's like, "Oh, hey Chloe, same again, same as usual," you're
Yeah,
like,
it makes you feel like they know you and it's a
"It
nice
does."
feeling, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
so we
definitely.
know at least 50-70% of our customers by
Yeah.
name. And it makes it a much nicer environment. And I think that's the difference between us and Weatherspoons or something.
Yeah, definitely. And then finally, if you could go back to the start of your business journey, would you change anything or are you happy with everything, like how it
I
went?
don't think I would, to be honest. No, it's been, I mean, I sort of cut my teeth, I suppose, on the other pub. I didn't make
Yeah.
mistakes, but that was my learning curve. Whereas
Yeah.
I sort of knew what I was doing when I came into this a bit more. So we've got a great team, and Dell, my business partner, is a great support. Uh, so it's a nice journey. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think I would change anything.
Amazing. Thank you. So I'm going to ask you a couple of like shorter questions for our mini interview. It might sound like I'm repeating myself a little bit because it's just for like social and stuff. But
Okay.
if you could try and answer in just a really brief sentence, if that's all right.
Yep.
Cool. So what advice would you give to somebody starting a business?
Always have about twice as much as you need in terms of money and like personal energy.
Okay. And what has been your biggest achievement as a business owner?
Staying open and having a busy pub.
Okay. And then how do you cope with challenging clients or challenging customers?
We've had to adopt a sort of zero tolerance policy with challenging customers who we've sort of given a second chance. They're a ticking time bomb. It then have whatever in whatever way they've been challenging, fights or drugs or whatever. It's just happened again. So we've had to, yeah, zero tolerance. You've got to be firm. We are friendly, but we aren't your friends almost.
Yeah.
We need to protect ourselves and our other customers and our staff. So that's the line on that.
Yeah, definitely. And then finally, what question would you like to ask another business owner if you could?
Ooh, do you make a profit? I
Yeah.
can't imagine anyone's making a profit at the moment. That would be interesting.
Okay, amazing. Thank you. I'm just going to stop recording. Hang on.